What's up, people? Welcome back to Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez, and this is another episode of Single Issue Saturdays. And if you don't know, this video is not dropping on a Saturday, so I got pretty busy this weekend and I just wasn't able to record the video in time, so I apologize. But it will be returning to its normal schedule this upcoming Saturday, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, so this week I'm going to be going over 4 issues, 3 physical, 1 digital, and let's go ahead and get into it then. First issue I'm going to go over is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 20, and this is written by Joe Kelly. The artists are John Romita Jr., Paco Diaz, and Todd Knock. Scott Hanna did the inking for John Romita Jr., and Paco Diaz did his own inking, and Todd Knock did his own inking. And there's several colorists. So Marcio Menez is one colorist, Eric Archinega, and Marte Gracia. And the letterer is Joe Caramagna. And yeah, so Joe Kelly's run has kind of been up and down for me. I really enjoy when Pepe Larraz is on the interiors and when John Romita Jr. does the fill-in work. I'm really not a fan of his most recent artwork. Sometimes it's okay and just passable, other times it's just not that great. And in this issue, it was not that great. Again, John Romita Jr. is a legend. I will never take away for what he's done for the comic industry. Again, I love his work on Daredevil, but yeah, this not really doing for me. And also I'm kind of over the dual stories of Norman being Spider-Man on Earth and Peter being out in space. I'm kind of over it, so they're almost done. I think issue 22, Peter will be returning back to Earth, so yeah, I'm just ready to move forward. And after he comes back, we're going to get into the Death Spiral crossover event with Venom. So but anyway, as far as this issue goes, it was just okay. It was better than issue 18. So first we start with Aunt May. She's visiting Oscorp. She's looking to speak with Norman, and then based on the ending of last issue, Norman is being attacked by these goblin slayers. And I did not like. See, look at this. They're apparently fighting in the floor above where Aunt May is, and just the floor is crumbling underneath that. But just look, I just not digging the artwork, man. I'm just not really digging it. And the designs for these goblin slayers are just not that great either. But yeah, just look at this. Again, for those who are fans of John Romita's artwork, I mean, more power to you, but this just looks like, I feel like I could draw something like this, to be honest. And it's just like, it's not that compelling to me. It's really not that compelling. And then we jump to, again, Peter's lab partner, or, Ben Reilly has been working alongside him for this project they're doing with this fungus material, and his name is Brian. Brian got incapacitated, and he got infected with some of the biochemical makeup of their project. So what's going to happen to him, we're not sure, but he's taken away. And their boss doctor, OM, she's just not, I don't like her character either. She's just like, her actions just don't make sense to me. I just don't like her character arc. And then we cut to Ben Reilly. This is the only part where Ben Reilly is in. So Peter's boss at Rand Industries is contacting Ben, and Ben's ignoring her because in this, again, the subplot with Ben, it's like, why was he impersonating Peter Parker? I mean, yeah, they have a connection, but it just wasn't really explained that well. And yeah, it just kind of went nowhere. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, so pretty much Norman, he's fighting these goblin slayers throughout Oscorp, and then eventually the other spider heroes show up and join in the fights and help Norman. And I just, again, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the designs of the Goblin Slayers that kind of remind me of the Geth in Mass Effect, but not that great, like a shittier version. So they're getting attacked, and they're getting their ass kicked, and then all of a sudden it switches the artwork, and that was just really jarring. And I don't know. I was just not feeling this issue. I mean, the artwork is cool. This is a lot better. I just wish this was the art throughout the whole issue. But it wasn't. It was mostly John Romita Jr. in the last couple pages. It's just two artists. Like, what? Like, why? It's just, the artwork wasn't consistent. It was jarring. And yeah, the story is just like, okay, they're after Norman. Norman, when he was Goblin, did them wrong and it killed a lot of people. So I guess that makes sense for why these people are after Norman. And I like how there was a callback to his time with the Dark Avengers, and it shows flashbacks to Norman as a kid and his dad's being really abusive, and showing like there's either a cat or cats drowning in this pool, and Norman's dad's just holding him, holding him hostage so he doesn't save the cats. And that's really dark. But it's just like, I don't know, it's not bad, but it's just okay. And I'm over Norman being Spider-Man, and hopefully it goes in an interesting direction when Peter comes back to Earth. So we'll see. But Amazing Spider-Man issue 20 was just okay. It was just okay. Better than issue 18, but just still not that really compelling. I definitely appreciate the space side of it more, but yeah, those were my thoughts on that. So next issue I'm going over is Green Lantern Galactic Slam, and this is the one shot. It's a DCKO tie-in, and it really doesn't tie into the event all that much. The first couple pages, they're fighting on Earth. But actually, let's get into the credits here. So it's written by Jeremy Adams, the mainline Green Lantern writer. The art's by Kane Torme and Pat Boughton. Colors are by Romulo Fajardo Jr. and the letters are by Buddy Beaudoin. And yeah, so the only really tie-in to the DCKO is we got Kyle Rayner, Superboy, the Odyssey, and the Silver Scarab. They're on Earth, fighting the parademons, while the main superheroes are in the DCKO tournament. And Kyle, he goes full White Lantern to subdue the parademons, which I thought Kyle Rayner going White Lantern's always a cool image. And so I thought that was cool. And then while he gets depowered because he uses all his energy becoming the White Lantern, he turns back to normal and he has to recharge his powers. And then while that's happening, a parademon pushes him into this boom tube portal, and they get transported to another galaxy where this intergalactic wrestling tournament is going on. And Omega Bam Man is the multiversal champion, and he was introduced in Jeremy Adams' Flash run, which I have not read, but I've heard great things, and I definitely want to read that. But most of this issue was just mostly focusing on Omega Bam Man, which, I thought and it's also just dumb fun issue, and I appreciated that for what it was. But again, really just focusing on Omega Bam Man. It's essentially a origin story, and Kyle Rayner's just a supporting character, which, I mean, Kyle Rayner's my favorite character, or favorite Green Lantern. And yeah, so, I mean, it was cool. This issue was cool. The artwork was okay. And so, pretty much, Kyle Rayner, he wants to go back home to help prevent, Darkseid from taking over the planet, but he's stuck on this hub where all the wrestlers are, and he's powerless at the moment, and he's trying to get back to Earth, but he can't. So Omega Bam Man just goes over, the whole deal with this wrestling federation, and his backstory, and he gives him his origin, and literally go over the epic origin of Omega Bam Man. So this, I mean, it's cool. This guy, he was on this planet called Galaxia, where the men, if they have too many aggressive tendencies, they get shunned. And so he saw this dude, Bro Mega, fighting this wrestling federation, and he got inspired by him as a kid, so he wanted to be just like him. So dude, while he was younger, he trained secretly to become stronger, and then one day his village was attacked by this alien beast, and then so he stopped it by punching him, and that's a big no-no because he displayed aggressive behavior, so his village cast him out. And then the Federation, it's called Wham, and Wham showed up on his planet with the wrestler that he idolized, Bromega. So he watches him, and then he begs Bromega to take him as his apprentice, so Bromega accepts, and then they become a tag team. And then one day, Bromega loses against this dude called Mr. Skuggs, and he's from Apocalypse, and apparently Bromega dies in Omega Bam Man's arms, and he's screaming, "Bro!" This guy, bro, is like his favorite word, so there was a lot of bro in the dialogue. Very bro story. So anyway, we cut back again. Kyle's just trying to get home, so they go to the the warp drive for the ship, and like how Kyle's in his luchador outfit, pretty cool. But so it's revealed that Bromega faked his death, and he's actually wanting Darkseid to take over the universe. So he teams up with Mr. Skuggs and this girl named Knockout. She's from Apocalypse as well. So they do a 3 versus 2 match essentially. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, artwork was cool. Didn't really tie into the event. Not a lot of Kyle. It's mostly Omega Bam Man story, but I like how he's doing the Randy Orton pose and Kyle's doing his best Shawn Michaels impression. So if you like wrestling and if you like Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run, then you'll probably like this. It's just dumb fun. Nothing really of major consequence happens. And we'll see if Omega Bam Man shows up. So he'll probably will in Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run. But it was a cool issue. Nothing special, but digging this Juan Ferreira cover. So yeah, that was that. And the next issue I'm going to go over is the only digital issue that I read this week, and that's Nightwing issue 134. It is written by Dan Waters. Artwork is once again by V. Ken Marion. Colors are by Veronica Gandini, and the letters are by Wes Abbott. So Nightwing, he had to go through this fifth dimensional portal in the last issue with the help of Martian Manhunter to enter the realm of the Zanny, and it's called the Cirque du Sin, where the Zanny has kidnapped a bunch of children from Bloodhaven. So Dick, he had to go to this fifth dimensional area to retrieve the kids. So he's in the Cirque du Sin now, going through these Zanny's mind games. And I liked how when he's in the Cirque du Sin, I liked how the colors are muted. And they have like kind of like this filter on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And all while he's at the Cirque du Sin, Martian Manhunter, he's back in Titan's Tower. He's having this real serious inner monologue, and Barbara Gordon, he's talking to Barbara Gordon, and they're trying to figure out how to help Dick. And I just enjoyed their banter with one another. It's pretty humorous. And I also just, V. Ken Marion's design of the Zanny was just really horrifying, and I just like menacing. And I liked how the letters by Wes Abbott when the Zanny speaks was really unique, and I really dug it. So the Zanny, he essentially they start to play games. So if it's called Tin Can, so he has like a replica of Bloodhaven in the middle of a circus ring, and it's made out of tin cans, and the rules are whoever knocks down the most cans wins. But there's a twist where when they knock down the cans, they actually destroy parts of Bloodhaven in the real world. So Zanny, he goes first, he throws a ball, knocks over some cans, and that turns into buildings being destroyed at in Bloodhaven. So Dick, he's in a dilemma now. He has a dilemma now because he wants to save the children, but he also doesn't want to destroy his city. So he's struggling with what he should do. So he tricks the Zanny. So it looks like he's gonna throw a ball into the cans, but it's actually he took a piece of Nightmite who turned into this like gooish substance. And since Nightmite is a fifth dimensional imp, only he could affect the Zanny, who is also for the fifth dimension. So Nightwing, he throws Nightmite, or a piece of Nightmite, at the Zanny, and I just thought that was a cool twist, and it was unexpected. And so the issue pretty much ends with Olivia Pierce is still working with the Zanny as well. She's still upset at Dick, and she throws her decapitated head at the tin cans, and she throws it at the one that's representing Titan's Tower. So she destroys it, and so the cliffhanger of the issue is just Titan's Tower is destroyed, and Nightwing Prime, he's still incapacitated from the kryptonite dart that hit him. So what's going to happen with Nightwing Prime? Is he going to be okay? I'm sure he's going to come back and aid Dick in some way. But another great issue of Nightwing. Again, the artwork by V. Ken Marion. He did some fill-in work on Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run, so I really enjoy his artwork. I think it was just perfect for the story Dan Waters was trying to tell, and it's another great issue of Nightwing. Dan Waters' run has been just getting better and better with each issue, so I definitely recommend it. That was my favorite DC issue this week. And the last issue that I'm going to be going over is Assorted Crisis Events, issue number 8, and this is written by Dennis Camp, and the art's by Eric Zawadzki. The colors are by Jordi Belair, and the letters are by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. And again, I had, like I mentioned in the episode of New Comic Wednesdays, I went over the first trade of Assorted Crisis Events on an episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays. You can catch that and I'll put a link up for it. But I haven't been picking up the single issues, and the reason I picked up this single issue is because this one in particular, it's based on a troubled comic book creator, and the paper stock, I can't really tell, but it's like this newspaper print, and it's revealed that the second volume trade of Assorted Crisis Events won't have this type of paper stock, because it would just complicate things when trying to put the book together. So decided to pick it up, and again, since this is an anthology series, you can pick up any issue. You don't have to read any of the prior issues to get the story. They're all one and done stories, which is really cool. I really appreciate that. So again, this series is awesome. Like, Dennis Camp is definitely one of my favorite up and coming writers, doing great work with this, Absolute Martian Manhunter, The Ultimates, and I still need to read 20th Century Men. I do have the trade of that, so that will probably be an episode. I'll probably go over that in an episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays in the near future. But he's just been killing it, and this is just another great issue, and it's about a comic book. It's pretty much a commentary about the comic book industry as a whole, just about the struggling comic book artist and writer. And just, there's probably stuff that went over my head, since, you know, I don't know all the intricacies and the, terminology when creating comics. So some of it probably went over my head, but it's just a great story and very heartfelt, very tragic. You just go through this guy's, he's just reminiscing about his life and all the mistakes he's made, and it's just the artwork by Eric Zawadsky, just really creative, and just the panel layouts and composition. It's just Dennis Camp, he's had really creative layouts and compositions throughout every comic that I read of his, and this, it just continues here, and then just the artwork's really, really sick. Really sick. So I feel like Dennis Camp and the entire creative team behind this book, they're just pushing the medium forward. And yeah, it's just, again, this guy, he's just going over his life, how he, started, creating comics, and that was his passion, but then he got stuck on a book that he didn't really know how he could relate to, so it was suffering, and then he started putting details of his own life into the book, even though they might have been, awkward for him, but it led to the book selling more, so he got a raise, and then he meets his eventual wife, and he has marriage issues as he's putting his real life issues with his wife into the comic, and she doesn't like that, and it's just, again, really great storytelling and using the artwork, not only Dennis Camp's script, but the artwork itself tells a story as well. It's a big part of this particular story, and it's just, the ending's just really, really sad, to be honest, because, as he's reflecting his life, with his baby, he's just seeing all these empty spaces, which are the spaces between the panels. So, and it goes back, so he's a drunk, he's an alcoholic, and he's with his wife and his child. They get into a car accident, but what's crazy is this was shown earlier in the issue, because as he's walking drunk through the streets, he gets hit by a car, but we find out that was him who hit himself. So it's crazy. So we'll get to, where's this? Yeah, so when we get to this part, you can see he almost hit himself. So his wife ends up dying, and just the visual, like, look at this. The visual is just devastating, and graphic. And yeah, I didn't get this part where it's all the superheroes on the toilets, but you know, and his daughter, she's grown up and just looking for him and just asking everybody, like, have you seen this man? And as people are starting to forget, he's, you know, continuing to enter this void where the actual design of his character gets simpler and simpler, where it just becomes like lines and dots. So I like that visual. And it goes through, like, so yes, getting less defined. Yeah, just really incredible issue. This is my favorite issue of the week, definitely. What they're doing, what Dennis Camp and the entire creative team, what they're doing with this comic is just, it's great. Like, this is like one of the best single issues I've read in recent memories in the end, and then get to draw a picture. But highly recommend. And Javier Rodriguez did the variant cover for this, and yeah, just another great issue of Assorted Crisis Events. It's just a great commentary of just the human condition in a sci-fi cerebral setting. So if that's something that appeals to you, then definitely recommend Assorted Crisis Events. That was issue number 8. And that was it. That was another episode of Single Issue Saturdays, and this time it's going to be on a Monday. So again, the normal schedule will pick back up this week. And so yeah, just thank you for those who are watching. Leave a like, and if you read any of these issues, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, this is Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez, and I'm out. Peace.